Tax is another aspect of financial maths that does show up almost all the time. And not only again in junior cert, but very often in leaving cert. So let's see. Jane has a gross annual income of 56,000. Now, vocabulary. The problem very often with financial maths because we are not familiar with this vocabulary, we don't use it in everyday life. Well, not we. You guys don't use it, I use it. As an adult, we do use it. So let's go over vocabulary. So, very often in your question, you can see a word net. So, as well, how that can be expressed and what does that mean? It can be, say, without tax, after tax is collected, excluding tax. So, any of those words can be used. When it comes to gross, as we have here, that means that in that value we have tax, that before tax are collected, that means it's including tax. So in that gross value we have tax. Now, so what is tax? Tax is something that we all have to pay, but we don't want to pay. Now, it's very important. It allows the country to function. But yeah, we all don't like paying it. Now, and then general idea of how it works, that you take the net value plus the tax, and therefore you get the gross value. So when you are looking at income of 56, in that money, part of it will be net and part of it will be tax. Okay, so let's see. Jane pays income tax on her gross income at a rate of 20% on the first 44,300 and 40 on the balance. So what does that sentence mean? So when I'm looking at all of her money, not all of her money are taxed the same way. So that is 56,000. We divide that money, and this is where the division comes in. They are telling us that we divide, on one side I have 44,300, and on the other side is the balance. Meaning what? How will I find the balance? From the gross, so from everything, if I take away 44,300, that will be what's in this part. So here we are told that that is taxed at 20% and that remaining part at 40. So therefore we have to work out Jane annual income tax. They are looking for how much that tax is going to be at each of these two rates. So how do we do the calculation? So 44,300 multiply, because when we need to find the percentage of the number, what do? We multiply. So either in your calculator you put 20%, so with the percentage sign, or you change that to a decimal 0.2. Doesn't matter which way, both of them will work. And when we put that in the calculator, we get 8,860. So now about the balance. So from 56,000, we take away 44,300. So that will give me what's left over. And again, we multiply that either by 40% in our calculator, or we change that to a decimal 0.4. And again, we can put all of that in the calculator. We don't have to subtract it first. Calculator will do that job. We press equal and we get 4,680. Okay, so then the next part. Jane has annual tax credits of 330. Work out Jane's annual take-home pay. Oh yeah, that's what I should include here net, the take-home pay. So basically after the tax are collected. So what is tax credit? Okay, so let me give you again the overall idea of how it works with the taxes. So first of all, we do that calculation that we've done in part A. Very often those two parts are not divided. So we know that we've already done, that was our 44,300 multiplied by 20%. We got 8,860. Here we did the balance, whatever was remaining. So from gross, we took that first money, so 44,300. We multiply by 0.4. And then we got our 4,680. So together, when I add them, that add up to tax. So let's add that up. So when we add it, we get 13,540. Now, that is not the tax she paid. From that, we take away tax credit. So 3,300. And now the difference between those two, this is the tax that she paid. So the difference here is what? 10,240. Now, we have to work out her annual take home, meaning what does she take home, the net. So from gross, so if I want to find net from gross, we take away the tax, isn't it? And that's how we know it. So the gross was what? 56,000 minus, now this is the tax that she paid, 10,240. And we put that in the calculator and we get 45,760. But that's what I'm saying. That's how all of that is done. That's how this calculation is done.